Gotta get that touchdown, that home run. I need to shoot a three. It's fourth and goal, a full count. I'ma kill a crossover your D. I'ma hit him with a hat trick, a slick pitch. My team coming at you with a full blitz. You can't elude, we don't miss. Cause we in this to win this. Like it is our business. My skill set is so wicked. We kick it like FIFA. Wear stripes like Adidas. See my face on all of y'all shirts. My name up in them lights. You going down like Frazier in this crowd, keeping me hype. I need them Sports Center highlights. On prime time, that's my time. My squad's about to get right. We up all night, man. We taking over your flow. We about to own your field, and when the ref blow that whistle, then you know it's about to get real, cause it's game time.
Game time! Here on Disputed Sports, everybody. Hope everybody had a safe and great Memorial Day weekend. Oh, it feels so good to be back under the mic. But like I said, hope everybody had a great and safe Memorial weekend with their family and friends and loved ones. And just hope that everybody stays safe. And like I said, this too shall pass. It's slowly but surely passing too. So let's all just stay calm and be patient, and this will be over. But before I get into my show, I do want to let y'all know that I will be talking about police brutality tomorrow on my show, because I just want to, just let y'all know that my hearts and my prayers do go out to the family of George Floyd, the man that was killed by the police a couple days ago in Minneapolis. So, my hearts and prayers go out to that family. That's a sad, sad situation. And we're going to get more into that tomorrow. We're going to get deep into that tomorrow. So stay tuned. You definitely don't want to miss that, or you definitely don't want to miss what I got to say about that. So, but we're going to turn the page a little bit today and continue to talk about my stay or go with the quarterback and coach. We're gonna preview the AFC South for the teams in the AFC South is the Indianapolis Colts, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, and the Houston Texans. We're gonna review their draft picks, the free agency signings, and their team history. We're gonna start off with the Houston Texans, who was the division winners. But Houston Texans was formerly named the Houston Oilers. Everybody know the Houston Oilers. Back in the day, they had some great teams with Warren Moon, Bruce Matthews, Jeffrey Haywood. They had some great teams. And of course, everybody know about Earl Campbell, the refrigerator. So overall, they had some great teams. They never won a Super Bowl either. They won the AFC the game before it was called the Super Bowl in 1961 and 1962, but that didn't count. And they became the Houston Texans in 1999. But last year they finished with a 10-6 record, first in the division. As everybody knows, they lost in the second round to Kansas City when they was up 21 points. And they end up losing that game by 24 points. Just shows you how good the Chiefs is. The owner of the Houston Texans is Janice McNair. GM is Chris Olsen. And Bill O'Brien. Head coach is Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's career record as a head coach of the Houston Texans is 52-44. He is 2-4 in the playoffs. He coached. This is 6th season as the head coach of the Houston Texans. As you know, before they lost that game to the Kansas City Chiefs, they won that game in the first round of last year's wild card game against the Buffalo Bills when they came back from a 14-point deficit. So that was amazing. That was a great game, too. Their offensive coordinator is Tim Kelly. Defensive coordinator is Anthony Weaver. Anthony Weaver, he's been with the Texans since 2006 as the defensive line coach. And like I said, the Texans start and the Texans definitely end with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the Houston Texans. Without Deshaun Watson, Houston Texans would be irrelevant. They wouldn't even be the Houston Texans. And what shocked the world was when DeAndre Hopkins was traded to the Arizona Cardinals for David Johnson, who hasn't been a running back he's been in years, even though they got a first-round pick for it. Then they ended up trading their first-round pick to get Brandon Cooks, the wide receiver from the Los Angeles Rams. And the reason why that trade was shocking him because it was DeAndre Hopkins. He's one of the best top premier young wide receivers in the game. And to trade him for basically nothing was a shock. Was just a shock. They didn't even get a first round pick for him. They got a second round pick. And they traded their first round pick. Excuse me for saying they got a first round pick. They didn't get a first round pick. They got a second round pick for David Johnson. They also traded for Laremy Tunsil. He's one of the best offensive tackles in the game. He also just signed a 3-year, $66 million deal. He's the highest paid offensive tackle in the league. They also traded for Gareon Conley, cornerback out of Ohio State. So as you know, Bill O'Brien, he's a risk taker. He's been doing it ever since he was a coach. They also traded for Duke Johnson. And the Browns got a third round pick for Duke Johnson. So he's known to make trades. He's known to, take risks. And that's just Bill O'Brien. But some of the notable free agents they got Roderick Johnson, the offensive tackle. They needed help on the offensive line. Wide receiver Vernon Hargraves. Remember him out of Florida, the top pick that went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, didn't pan out. They need secondary help. They also got Randall Cobb. I like that pick, Randall Cobb, because it's going to help. It's not going to make up for DeAndre Hopkins, but it definitely will help Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody that's very reliable and can catch the ball. But as you can see, the Dallas Cowboys didn't use Cobb right last year. As you can see, that's why a quarterback makes a wide receiver, because when Cobb was with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, you heard all about him. But when he went to Dallas and Dak Prescott, they didn't use him right. So that's why I say quarterbacks make wide receivers. Great quarterbacks make wide receivers. They also signed A.J. McCarron. They also signed Eric Murray. They also signed cornerback Bradley Roby. And they signed tight end Darren Forbes. And they draft picks I really do like. Ross. They drafted Ross Blacklock, defensive tackle out of TCU, in the second round. They drafted Jonathan Greenwood in the third round. In the fourth round, they got John Reeds, cornerback from Penn State. Fifth round, Isaiah Colbert, wide receiver from Rhode Island. So as you can see, they've been heavy on the wide receivers because they lost DeAndre Hopkins, and Corey Fuller. He hasn't been up he hasn't been healthy, but when he is healthy, he's another speedster. I can tell you this, though. The Houston Texans got a lot of speed on the wide receiver side. With Corey Fuller, Brandon Cooks, there's going to be two speedsters. Then you got Brandon Cobb, who can work the middle of the field. So they did a great job of trying to make it up, but it's not going to be a DeAndre Hopkins, but by a committee that can make it up. But all in all, I still think Bill O'Brien is in the hot seat. I still got this team winning the division because the division is not that good. That's the only reason why. But I still think they are 2-3 pieces away from being a bona fide championship a championship team. And it all starts with this Deshaun Watson. He's not going anywhere. So, all in all, I do have them winning the division. But if something miraculously happened and Bill O'Brien do not make the playoffs, Bill O'Brien will not be the head coach of the Houston Texans. Now, that's going to wrap up the Houston Texans. We're going to continue with Stay or Go. Next, we're going to review the Indianapolis Colts. Stay tuned here on the Smoothie Sports. Back in a minute. Don't go anywhere.
Now, for a limited time, when you switch to Sprint, you can pick up a new Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8-inch on us. That's right, get a Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8-inch on us when you add unlimited data for just $25 per month. Plus, this weekend only, when you switch to Sprint, you'll get $100 via prepaid MasterCard for each new phone you lease. The more lines you switch, the more savings you'll get. There's never been a better time to switch to Sprint. Stop by your local Sprint store during Sizzling Sprint Weekend, August 9th, 10th, and 11th to learn more and check out other great deals. Requires port online registration and 60 days of service before card ships. Card terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Member FDIC. Tab A 8-inch $0 per month after 1042 monthly credit for 24 months. Credit apply within 2 bills. Requires new line and qualifying plan. Video streams up to 480p plus resolution. Music up to 500 kilobits per second. Gaming up to 2 megabits per second. Data deprioritization during congestion. If you cancel early, remaining balance due. Tax due at sale.
Everything litty, I love when it's hot. Turned to the city, I broke out the knot. Got some more millies that keep me a knot. I created history, it made me a lot. He tried to diss me and it don't false. We call them chopsticks cause they gonna chop. Took her out of filers cause of pop. I run it like Nike, we got it on lock. Cardiac eye. I'm the boss man in a suit with no tie.
Welcome back to Disputed Sports, everybody. We're going to continue our segment with Stay or Go. We on the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts finished third in their division with a 7-9 record. As you know, Andrew Luck retired, and that was a shocking from last year. So Kobe Brissett was their quarterback, but their history. We all know the face of the Indianapolis Colts when they had them great teams, and Marshall Faulk, Joseph Adai, Peyton Manning, he's the face of the Colts. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark. They had some great players, man. They had some. That was a great team, and they won the championship in 2009 when they beat the Saints. So that was Peyton Manning thing. But, before that was the Jim Harbaugh days. So, they had some great history. But all in all, ever since Peyton Manning came, he made them relevant. And so far, they still is. But this season, they had a rough season because of the shocking news of Andrew Luck, who was one of the best young quarterbacks in the league. I don't care what anybody says, when healthy. The owner of the Colts is Jim Irsay. Everybody knows Jim Irsay. He's the owner. GM Chris Ballard. Head coach Frank Reich. He was an offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. In 2 seasons, he got a 17-15 record. 1-1 in the postseason. Their defensive coordinator is Matt Eberflus.